Destroying alternative media is now a primary objective of the establishment. That's what so-called fake news is all about. It's an effort to get people to stop reading social media, countering propaganda put out by the establishment. The U.S. government has used the media for its war propaganda for more than 100 years. William Randolph Hearst worked with the government to get the Spanish-American War going. He ran sensationalistic stories about the Spanish occupation of Cuba to raise public support for the war. War propaganda became a science by the time the United States entered the First World War. President Woodrow Wilson established America's Committee on Public Information. It was run by the State Department and the Army and the Navy. During the Second World War, the media played a direct role in creating propaganda. FDR created the Office of War Information. It worked with the state and war departments and the media, including Hollywood, newspapers, and radio stations. In the early 1950s, the CIA created its Operation Mockingbird takeover of the corporate media. The foreign policy objectives of the ruling elite were disseminated by corporate newspapers and media. But the internet came along and changed everything. Alternative media now has a viable platform. By the late 1990s, dozens of sites were appearing weekly, challenging the corporate media. Every day, millions of people around the world get information that challenges the official narratives of government. The U.S. government routinely invents lies to cover its false flag attacks. In addition to the lies about Saddam Hussein and Iraq, the government used its premier propaganda outlet, the New York Times, to lie about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which never occurred. More recently, the establishment lied about Syria and Libya. It blames Bashar al-Assad and the Russians for the carnage there. It refuses to mention that Assad tried to negotiate peace and the Syrian constitution was changed in 2012 to end the Ba'ath Party monopoly on power. Assad offered amnesty to the so-called rebels, but this received little coverage. The New York Times and the establishment media consistently portray murderous Islamic radicals as moderates. The media also said Assad gassed his own people. It then refused to report the sarin attack in Syria was attributed to al-Qaeda. It also claims without a shred of evidence Assad and Russia are helping the Islamic State. The so-called fake news narrative is the latest attempt by the establishment to undercut the influence of alternative media. Facebook, Google, and Twitter agreed to work with the elite to scrub alternative media from their social media platforms.